Did I just drive 5 hours to get down here? We're going to one of the best teachers, actually the best teacher in Georgia, Daniel Gray.
I'm on the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time, ready to shine, brighter than all of the lights. Cause when it's game time, seconds away and the game's on the line. There ain't no doubt in my mind, beating the buzzer like, this is my time.
So why did I choose Daniel Gray? He's the 2021 Teacher of the Year in Georgia. And just this year, he has had 2 of his students make it to the US Amateur, which is one of my goals in the long term. Maybe this year, we'll find out. And he's also worked with PGA Tour members. I guess you could say the main reason I wanted to work with him is because he gets results. I joked around, I was like, I'm gonna come all the way down here and he's gonna say my grip's wrong.
Grip's wrong. Well, it's not wrong, it's just...
It's not efficient.
It could be better. So my thought would be this, take that hand off just for a minute, open that up. So I do think you would benefit from being a little bit more down in the fingers. So we need just a little bit more. So it does not need to do this. Like this would be too much in the fingers, okay?
Yeah.
This, however, for me, final clip face, is a little too much in the palm.
On the grip.
For you. Everybody's a little different, but I think for you, we need it so that you can actually have some hinge and set.
Yeah.
Instead of, if it gets in the palm, watch, I'm gonna exaggerate you. You were never this exaggerated.
All right.
I'm just saying like an now try to do radial. See how ridiculously odd that is?
Yeah.
So that's why when you go back into your backswing, it didn't just naturally set. Yeah. So you just gotta have it down in those fingers. There you go. Now wrap that over a little bit. Okay, that's good. Good enough. It's fine. I want you to feel like you set the club right there for me. And when you're setting the club in this position, this is where you want to feel like when you're setting this thing up.
Yeah.
Like once you get this thing set up, you won't even have to think about these wrist angles. Screw this in.
It's a lot of work for a grip.
It's a lot of work for a grip.
Hey, I'll do anything.
The good news, yeah, I was gonna say, the good news is the grip's gonna take care of a lot of this. So.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna do here in a moment is you're just gonna set it right there. We're not gonna talk about your turn just yet, but I just want you to set it. And then for a couple swings, I just want you to turn and then just hit the shot, okay?
All right.
And I don't care how hard you hit it. Like you can hit it 100 yards. It doesn't matter how fast, but pause and stop with that wrist set and then just go ahead and hit it. Set it and then turn and hit. Once you feel like you got it, yep, turn and hit. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I want you to do about 4 or 5 of those in a row. Just kind of get in a rhythm. That was perfect. Good. Now turn shoulders and hit. Good, man. Yeah, really good.
So the first thing we worked on was my grip. Now driving 5 hours just to work on your grip, that's a long time. But with your grip starts everything. It's like a chain effect. With a bad grip, more than likely it's gonna be harder to get into a really good position. So the second thing I worked on was the wrist hinge. Now with the wrist hinge, it gets me a little bit higher because obviously I was a little inside when I first started out during this lesson. So with getting that first wrist hinge gets you in a great position at the top. And I love the analogy he gave with baseball. Baseball starts right here and it's right there. You don't have to wind up and then come back through. With golf, we're trying to get in the best position to hit the ball the best we can. So if we can set it up, that just makes all the steps easier.
Your goal now is to start to swing this shoulder underneath while this goes up. You feel that?
Yeah.
So really, instead of defining this as like rotation, define it as like left shoulder down, right shoulder up kind of motion.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's what you want to, so feel like there's a wall right here and it's fine for your wall. Yep, that's right.
A lot more turn.
Yeah, all right, so on my left. Yeah, left shoulder blade, awesome, good. Let the arms run a little bit, that's fine, good, there you go. Then from there it'll be a little shift and then just arms will come down, okay? Yeah, that's really good. It's gonna be very easy for you then just to have a little lateral motion and then strike the ball instead of back here, and then you're always pushing that way to make up for it. So that's why I was saying like that lateral motion, it'll fix itself.
Turn, Luke, turn.
Attaboy, much better. Yeah, and likely here, let me see this too, watch, I bet you.
So the third thing we worked on was my turn. This was probably the biggest effect in my whole golf swing of this whole lesson. As Daniel said, I was doing a fake turn like this, like a little shimmy, like Instead, I need to get here. So this turn, I always thought, I was like, man, I can't go any farther. was simply because I was not getting that left shoulder under. So this really got rid of a lot of my swaying, kept all my weight on my front foot a little bit more because I was a lot on my back foot. So that's pretty much the main 3 things that we worked on to strive to become an elite sandbagger.
Yeah, so good. Yep, good job, man. Really good.
There we go.
Yeah, really, really good. This you're really good at. This you're getting to be pretty dang good at. And then this last piece, the only reason I feel comfortable giving you the last piece is you're so good at that other stuff. But as you go down, see how the club head works outside your hands?
Yeah.
And it's off your wrist. It doesn't have to be on your wrist. It can be off by this point.
Okay.
But it's not that way.
That way?
That's not what we want. We want it here so that when you pivot, you can square that face up and you don't get that little weak rightness. Yeah, that's way better. That rotation, you got that down. That's pretty good. Try that again. I'll just video it face on. Yeah, that was way better. Yeah, that was way better. Good job, man. Pretty centered out. How was that one?
That one felt good.
Go to your backswing. Now, obviously from here, you're gonna have to work the club outside of that line.
Instead of inside.
Instead of inside.
I'm so used to trying to get it so far inside because of the old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so good. Yep. Good job, man. Really good.
When you teach an individual, do you teach the same thing or focus on what works for that player?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, one of the things, you mentioned earlier about the biomechanics of this thing, and I think one of the reasons that I chose in my career, I did a lot of observations of instructors. Todd Anderson, Cameron McCormick, Kevin Weeks in Chicago, Pat Goss in Chicago, like a lot of, all the instructors here, Gail Peterson, Jack Lumpkin, everybody here. But the reason I chose to then have like a more detailed focus in the last 10 years on biomechanics is specifically not to teach, not that any of those people do, but to prevent myself from becoming like a method teacher.
Yeah.
And not teaching the same person the same thing. Like that was my, goal, was to figure out, okay, what are some of the real functional movement patterns of the body? It's like today's a good example. It's kind of like developing in front of you, obviously, as an instructor. And you see it all right, this player has some not that this is you, but another player may have past concepts that he just can't get over. And we're not gonna be able to agree on, or we're not gonna be able to get past. So it's fine, I'll just kind of skip that. I'll work around that. Or another player may say, like you did today, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. I'll just change this. I won't do it the way I've been doing it. I can do that.
Yeah.
Or it's very easy for me to do, and that's where working with kind of competitive younger players, that's a bit easier because obviously you guys can control these motor patterns a little faster, a little easier.
Immediately, you already had I knew you were already thinking. He was thinking.
I knew where we were going.
He already knew where you were at. Talk about the player development program.
Sure.
So did you start that here?
I did. Yeah.
Started it here?
Started here 6 years ago. This program just kind of provided a little more structure for when the parents call in, or just kind of gives them the parents that would call in maybe didn't understand exactly how much time they needed with this person or this or that, and then we're kind of piecing it together.
Yeah.
And then this just kind of added some stability to that, to where they have myself and my assistant that kind of set up their schedules and watch their stats. So it's not just, oh yeah, you're going to go see this person every time. You see this person every time.
Yeah.
It's, well, I don't know. Stats are kind of leading us this direction. Let's focus more in this area.
And I love it because it's pretty much prepare everybody for college golf.
Trying to.
And a lot of people don't know how to get into college golf, and you guys make a way for that. Elite is what I want to be. I want to be an elite amateur.
Yep.
Even if I don't become a professional,
Sure.
I just want to be elite amateur. What do you think it takes to be elite?
Good question. So I would tell you this, and it's funny because when I title these programs advanced and elite, because that's how our programs are set up.
Yeah.
The ultimate definition of elite is playing at a top 10 school, right?
Yeah.
Top 15, top 20 school, and not all players are going to be that, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how I can get that person to be their version of elite, and I know that's a very generic kind of relative term, but at the same time, there is a cutoff for the program as far as the term elite goes. You have to have a certain scoring average to kind of get into the elite program.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you needed to kind of like be at a certain level to be able to qualify for the elite
Yeah.
part of it. But then after that, you know, it's really just trying to help them figure out how they can be the best version of themselves.
I'm an elite sandbagger.
Right.
You think I got what it takes to be elite?
We're going to find out.
We're gonna find out.
Let's see what happens in like a month. Let's see how
Yeah.
far you get in a month. One, conceptually, you've picked up quickly on the concepts of what we're talking about. So like if I see a player that can do it in slow motion, then I know we're good.
Yeah.
Like if the player can't do it in slow motion, and I've reworded it, say 3 or 4 different ways, and we still can't quite get it just in slow motion, then I'm gonna have to like rework how I'm gonna work with that player. What I don't want my Instagram account to be is like an open medicine cabinet
Yeah.
of players like, oh, well, hey, this player does that, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
What I teach the guy this morning has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's hard not to want to look at it though.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like what I saw was results, and that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
I like to see results. Well, I appreciate you. for
Yeah,
having me.
man, nice to
Down
meet
at
you.
the Sea Island.
Yeah, thanks for
Daniel
coming
Gray
by.
here. Daniel Gray.
Thanks, guys.
All right, huge shout out to Daniel for having me down here at the Sea Island. This was a treat. Everybody go to his website. If you guys are a junior golfer, sign up for the development program, because if you want to play college golf, this is the way to go. They will have you trained and prepared for this, and you will dominate in college. In the meantime, I have to become elite. He thinks I could become elite, so I'm about to become an elite sandbagger. The only way to do that is to have bangers every week. It's freaking
Hey,
good.
Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him